Hello, my ecom learners! Today's visual lesson will center on an example of a completed chapter 1. Be guided by this so you could come up with your research chapter 1. Watch this. Of course, we should not forget the first page, which is known as the cover page, that consisted of the research studies title, your name as the researcher, the recipient of the paper or your teacher's name, and the date it is submitted. The next page is the chapter introduction. It is very significant because it is in this part that you tell your readers what is the topic focus of the study or the problem you have identified and aim to find a solution. After the introduction part is the theoretical framework. This part explains the theory from among the theories you have read that best connect to your own study. Meaning to say, you don't have to mention all the theories you have read which seemed to be connected to your research. You may simply choose one as the most relevant. Just like in the example, the theory that best relate to the research study is the cognitive theory. It is also essential that you explain how the theory connects to your research study and why you decided to use it as one among your bases in understanding the problem you identified, as well as how you could possibly solve the problem. The next part is the conceptual framework. As you start reading and collecting data relevant to your study, it is significant that you craft a conceptual framework because it serves as a map that will guide you towards realizing your study's objectives or intent. It represents your understanding of how the particular variables in the study connect, or it shows the relationship of the variables of your study. Thus, it identifies the variables required in the research investigation. It is the researcher's map in pursuing the investigation. It is created through a visual diagram or a model that summarizes the concepts of your study as illustrated in the example research paradigm. And you should also discuss on the contents of the IPO model or the input, process, and output. Afterwards, we have the statement of the problem, which is also known as the SOP. In this part, you will state the research questions you intend to answer through the collected data and information you will have by means of your research instruments like surveys, interviews, readings, and observations. Followed after is the scope and delimitation. The scope details how in-depth your study is to explore the research questions and the parameters in which it will operate in relation to the population and time frame. Meanwhile, the limitations refer to the boundaries of the research study, based on the researcher's decision of what to include and what to exclude. In other words, in this part, you set the boundaries in terms of study duration, population size, and the type of participants and others in your study. For the significance of the study, you only have to mention who will be benefiting the study you are conducting when you reach the outcome or result of the research. And the last part is the definition of terms. It provides a clear meaning to terms that otherwise can be interpreted in different ways. They are arranged in alphabetical order just like in the example. And that is an example of a completed chapter 1 of a research paper. Hope you learned from it. Now you may construct your own chapter 1. Thank you for listening and studying with me, my ecom learners. I'll have you again in the next visual lesson. God bless, keep on learning, and always wear a happy heart.